Good morning, YouTube, um, and good morning to my fellow Canadians. Um, I'd just like to bring to light this rebel news media um, basically being kicked out by Andrew Scheer out of a public event. So my initial response was anger uh, towards Scheer because of the history of rebel news in Canada. So I'll elaborate more in a moment. David Menzies is a rebel news reporter that's basically been a reporter for more than 30 years. And the fact that he was kicked out, you know, you will know a little bit here about him. He's a controversial reporter, but he's been Andrew Scheer and the Conservative Party's strongest ally in the press. Not by loyalty per se, but because when it comes to controversies of Trudeau and criminal activity like SNC, like blackface, like Jody Wilson-Raybould, and so on, the Rebel is there reporting it. And they're not so much for Andrew Scheer as they are for the truth. So the Rebel media likes to report on the truth in the respect that the Liberals are trying to cover up the truth. And so the Rebel comes in and, like, they made it no secret that they hate Trudeau, like especially Ezra Levant, like given that their history with the Liberal government has been absolutely disgraceful. The Rebel's been kicked out of events and so on. So back to Andrew Scheer. Initially, my response was I was furious actually when I first saw it, but after learning a few things and scrutinizing it further, I realized that that was not the correct response. So let me give you some background. David Menzies was and the Rebel media was not invited exactly to this event. Now, Scheer was holding this as it was an event. How shall I put it? For disabled people, for handicapped children, and the children were there. Handicapped, not adults, only for children. So handicapped children and their parents. Scheer was holding the event so that he could address policy with these people, tax breaks, I suppose. Don't quote me on that. But essentially a plan to take care and look after these people. So it was an exclusive event designed to reach out to a particular audience, you could say, particularly disabled children. Now, David Menzies came without invitation, you could say, and the Rebel media showed up without invitation and without any warning. And apparently, David Menzies started yelling out questions to Andrew Scheer and caused, you could say, chaos at the event. And so he was escorted off the premises by the RCMP. So what I'm trying to say is that Scheer did not actually kick David Menzies out. What happened is that the address was for handicapped children, and the Rebel sort of behaved improperly by sending David Menzies there to try to corner Scheer and start asking questions. It just wasn't the right time and place. It was absolutely poor behavior on David Menzies' part, because he should have known ahead of time, and maybe he did, that the event was for handicapped children, and what was Scheer's plan to make things better for them. So I just want to say, that's one man's opinion. David Menzies is shown in this video in Rebel, and all credit to Rebel Media for this video clip. See, initially I was quite enraged by this, but after getting a little bit of context, because you know, I respect Scheer for doing what he did in this scenario, because you know it's an exclusive event, but for handicapped kids, I mean, you know, you can say that it's disgraceful, but I believe that they were well within their rights to escort David Menzies from the premises, to maintain the how shall I put it, the demeanor of the event. So I support the Rebel, don't get me wrong, but I do believe that they should have acted differently in this scenario, and perhaps chosen a different time in which to question Scheer in this aggressive way, a different place. Because apparently the building was full of handicapped kids and their parents, and they were just there to basically discuss with Scheer, or to hear his plan for the future for them. And that's perfectly reasonable. So I would like to thank Daniel Smith for exposing a little bit more on that front, and because there was a parent that basically, I guess they phoned into Daniel Smith's show, and essentially they reported it from the perspective of the event. And that parent was there, and so on and so forth, and they saw David Menzies behaving poorly. So here he is being escorted off the premises and so on. But I don't blame Scheer. I think that escorting him was the right thing to do. He's acting a little bit too much here, you know, like he's a criminal, and he's being like escorted and so on. He's really acting too much, you know. But anyhow, thank you for your attention, your time. All I can say is that the Rebel. I'm very, very proud of what you guys do, but I think that you behaved poorly in this moment, and perhaps pick your spots better. And Andrew Scheer, you know, like, it's possible that he didn't know at the time that this was happening, but again, the timing was very poor for the Rebel, and they should have chosen a different time to interview Scheer. So I would like to thank you for your time and attention, and my fellow Canadians, good day. YouTube, good day, and take good care. Thank you for your attention. Bye-bye.